Alrighty, let's dive into the start of this movie, where we are shown the bustling city of Baghdad. We meet this cool crew of army agents, led by the big shot, Lu Feng. Lu struts in like a boss and links up with the head honcho of an oil factory. This factory boss used to run the joint and call the shots. But hold up, things ain't so chill. The folks working at the factory are in a real tight spot. They're getting attacked left and right, causing chaos. And guess what? Lu and his squad roll in like superheroes, all set to save the day. So, this factory boss spills the beans to Lu, saying they gotta rescue a whopping 400 people stuck there. And the deal is, they gotta bust out of this mess and haul those folks to safety in the green zone. Sounds like a wild adventure, right? Now, picture this. There's this dude named Chris, just hanging out in his village. And who shows up? Yep, you got it. His own brother. Bro's got a proposal that's supposed to be a real moneymaker. The plan? Snatch some peeps riding in a bus. But Chris ain't having it. He's all about doing the right thing and sticking to the straight and narrow. No shady business for him. Then there's Owen, this guy in Chris's village, who's the water wizard, pulling that liquid gold right from the ground. And let me tell you, there's a serious drought situation going on in the village. Chris, being the stand-up dude he is, cares a ton about his villagers. So he gives Owen a shout and asks him to work his magic and get that water flowing. Alright, so now Owen's giving it his all, trying to get water from a well. But darn it, things aren't going his way. The sun's blazing hot, and the folks in Chris's village are really struggling with cash. Owen spills the beans to Chris. He's like, hey, if we had some moolah, we could totally get that water pumping. Chris is all ears, and he's like, no sweat, I'll rustle up the dough. Meanwhile, over at the factory, Lu and his crew are cooking up a plan. They're dead set on rescuing the factory folks and hauling them out of the danger zone. This eerie stretch they call the Highway of Death. But here's the kicker. It's like a shortcut, but it's also a real dicey route. Back at the factory, the boss locks down the whole shebang, saves it on a fancy pen drive, and tucks it away. Safety first, right? He hands off the bag to his right-hand person, who just so happens to be Lu's kid. Yeah, you guessed it. There's some serious family drama here. Lu and his daughter had a falling out because he wasn't around when her mom kicked the bucket. So she's ticked off and totally despises the guy. Fast forward, they're all piled up in a bus, heading for the safe haven known as the Green Zone. But hold up, they hit the Highway of Death, and it's like something out of a horror movie. Total chaos, wrecked cars everywhere, like a graveyard for vehicles. Lu's daughter's freaking out because nobody's made it out alive from here before. Those busted up cars tell a scary story. Lu's calling the shots, telling his team to keep their peepers peeled in all directions. He's got nerves of steel and keeps that bus rolling. But then, 2 cars block their path. Lu's daughter's like, whoa, let's hit the brakes. Lu's having none of it. He's like, I know what's up with these jalopies, and we ain't stopping for nothing. We gotta push through no matter what. Just as they edge the bus closer, kaboom! A massive explosion shakes him up. Lu ain't flinching though. He's got a trick up his sleeve. These buses are made of some fancy armor, so bullets and bombs are like a joke to him. Lu leans over to his daughter and he's like, we gotta blend in with this car graveyard. Lu spots this colossal sandstorm charging their way, but guess what? He's like, poof, no biggie, and just keeps on trucking with the bus. Meanwhile, Chris and his crew spot a golden opportunity in the chaos of the sandstorm. They're like, hey, let's grab that bus. And boom, they seize it. Chris was all in because he needed that green, you know? He'd agreed to his bro's wild idea. As they press on, they hit the brakes and park their buses. That's when Lu realizes, hold up, where's one of our buses? And where's the oil factory honcho? Turns out, they've gone rogue, taken a detour. One of Lu's team gals spills the beans. She's like, yo, I saw him heading the other way. Lu's like, time to call in the cavalry. So he summons a chopper to scout things out, and guess what? His daughter's like, I'm coming too, Dad. And off they go, bird's eye view style, chasing that missing bus. So they're up in the air, and Lu spots a truck down below. Ding, 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 it hits him. That sandstorm? It was all smoke and mirrors, a fake-out job by the baddies with their tricky truck. They were trying to pull a fast one and swipe their bus. Before you know it, Lu's bus pops up on his radar. He makes contact, and his team's gal's like, heads up, Lu! The Americans nabbed 5 of our peeps, including the oil bigwig. Lu's like, Roger that, and rallies his troops, telling them to steer their buses to the green zone, stat. Meanwhile, Chris and his crew are cruising along in their ride. But whoa, out of the blue, Lou drops a surprise bomb on him from his chopper. Chris ain't one to back down though. He whips out his shooter and starts taking shots at that chopper, forcing it to back off. The chopper's got some flames, but Chris isn't giving up. Now, Chris has hauled his bro to a pile of rubble. He's grilling him like, "Who's behind this crazy mission, huh? Spill the beans." Just then, Owen rolls in, Chris's buddy. Owen's like, "Yeah, this whole shebang was my brainchild. I even snatched the oil bigwig. See, I had this master plan, hacking into the oil company's systems, taking control, and raking in the big bucks." The leader at the oil factory put 2 and 2 together. He figured out it was Owen, causing all the chaos in his factory. So, when they made a run for the green zone, bam, they got nabbed on the way. Chris isn't holding back. He's like, "Dude, how could you hatch such a massive scheme? And count me out. I ain't backing you anymore. Fork over my cash so I can bounce." Owen's all, "Hold on, there's a bit more to do. You'll get your dough soon." Chris's bro chimes in, "Yeah, there's still loose ends." But Chris ain't having it. He's like, "I want my money in the next 2 hours, no ifs or buts." And with that mic drop, he pieces out. After Chris makes his dramatic exit, his bro's all like, "Well, we gotta finish up without him." But oh boy, Owen's got other plans. He straight up takes out Chris's bro. Total betrayal. Then he's like, "Get lost. You're on your own now." Chris makes his way back to his village, steam coming out of his ears, mad as a hornet at his bro. He's feeling like his bro played him for a fool. To cool off, he hangs out with the kiddos in the village and kicks around a ball. Enter Lou, the hero of our story. He saunters over like he owns the place, saying, "Hey, I'm here to rescue my people. I know you've got 'em." Chris ain't one to back down though. He's like, "Yeah, well, I'm saving my villagers too." See, Chris was only in it for the cash, to help his folks get water. Owen's master plan was to rope Chris into his scheme, but then he double-crossed him. Sneaky, right? Anyway, Lou and Chris have their tense exchange, and Lou heads off. Fast forward, Chris stumbles upon an abandoned factory, and there lies his brother's lifeless body. Cue the showdown with Lou. They're throwing punches, left and right. Chris's fists meet Lou's face, and vice versa. Chris suspects Lou offed his bro, but just as something's about to squish Chris's bro's remains, Lou leaps in to save the day. Plot twist, Lou didn't do the dirty deed. It was Owen, that scheming scoundrel. Bullets start raining down on him, thanks to Owen's goons. But Chris and Lou ain't taking it lying down. They fire back and even drop a bomb, causing a major kaboom. The goons beat a hasty retreat, but there's collateral damage. Chris's wheels are toast. They realize they're after the same scumbag, Owen. Chris figures he knows where Owen's holed up. Meanwhile, back at the factory, Owen's got the factory big shot and his crew held hostage. They're trying to crack the system, but there's a pesky code they can't crack. Owen's like, "Tell me the code," but the factory boss ain't singing. So Owen's like, "Fine, I'll play dirty," and pops a couple of his own guys. The factory bigwig's sweating bullets now. Owen gets nasty, threatens to off the boss's kid. That's when the boss spills the beans about the code. It's on a pen drive stashed in his bag. He ain't sure where it is, though, except he handed it to his assistant. Light bulb moment. The factory bigwig's son suggests they ring up his mom's phone. They're hoping she can spill the beans about the bag's location. Turns out, that bag's with Lou's daughter, chillin' in Chris's village. Plot thickens. Over in the village, Lou gets word that the rest of the crew made it to the green zone. His daughter's got some questions like, "Dad, can we trust this Chris dude?" Lou's all like, "Totally, sweetheart. He's a good egg, always thinking about doing right by folks. We can count on him." Just then, Chris rolls up with Lou's diary he found lying around. Chris starts teasing Lou, like, "Oh, you got a soft spot for someone, huh? Lucky you, man." He flips through the pages and finds pics of a girl. Chris gets it all wrong and asks, "Hey, you like this girl?" Lou chuckles and clears things up. That's his daughter, not some crush. Chris blushes and apologizes for jumping to conclusions. Lou gets real, opens up about his daughter. When his wife passed away, he wasn't there for her, and that's why she's still mad at him. Lou explains that he joined this mission to save her. She's working at the oil factory. Chris reassures Lou, saying, "Hey, don't sweat it. We got this. We'll rescue everyone together." Suddenly, They hear some shady characters causing a ruckus. Without hesitation, they charge in and take him on. Turns out, these goons are Owen's lackeys. They're after the bag Lou's daughter has, which has the factory boss's pen drive, the one with the system code. These goons mean business. They've even got the whole village at gunpoint. Chris ain't messing around, so he hands over the bag. The goons scram after snatching it. Lou and his daughter are fuming, though. Chris tries to justify himself, saying, I couldn't risk the whole village, had to play it safe. Next morning, Chris's curiosity gets the best of him. He pulls Lou's daughter aside and asks, So, what's in that bag? You were so dead set on keeping it. She spills the beans. It's a pen drive, a little gadget that can hack into the entire oil factory system. This means they could siphon off all the city's oil and ship it anywhere. Yep, you guessed it. It's a full-on oil heist plan. Pretty sneaky, huh? Meanwhile, over on a German ship, the captain's chatting it up with Owen on the phone. And speaking of Chris and Lou, they've hit the road, leaving the village behind. But Lou's daughter's got a hunch, a feeling that they can't let it all slide. So, she jumps in her car and tails them. Back at the factory, those goons arrive at Owen's spot with the bag. They're all, Hey boss, open sesame with this pen drive. The factory boss complies. And just like that, the system's fired up and running. Owen's orders? Fill up the German ship with oil. A bit of a wait, though. It'll take a whole day. But guess who shows up? Yep, Chris and Lou, rolling in on a truck, guns blazing. It's a showdown, and Lou's climbing pipes and taking out goons like a boss. Owen's watching from the shadows, thinking he's real slick. He tells his crew to scram. Job's done. Time to bounce. The ship's all fueled up. Chris gets inside the factory and goes on a goon smacking spree. But then, whoa, he spots Owen hightailing it out of there. Chris isn't letting him off the hook, though. He's hot on Owen's heels. And guess who shows up? Yep, Lou's daughter, right behind Chris. Now it's a tag team, and they're chasing Owen like there's no tomorrow. Here's the scoop. Lou's mixing it up with Owen's crew in the factory, playing a little game of tag, one goon at a time. It's like a showdown, factory style. Just when things are heating up, the big boss from the oil factory joins the party. He's all, "Aw man, things are a mess. Owen swiped the oil from the magic drive thingy. We gotta put a stop to this colossal disaster." Meanwhile, Chris is hot on Owen's tail, trailing him like a shadow. But whoa, action-packed moment. Chris jumps his ride, and right behind him, Lou's daughter sends her car flying, catching some air. Unfortunately, her wheels take a hit, and Chris is like, "Seriously, your car's toast." But worry not, Lou rolls in like a superhero with his trusty truck. They hop in, and off they go, like a trio of road warriors. Chris whispers the secret to reaching Owen in a flash, and they ditch a rocket launcher from their truck, the very same one they used to fake that sandstorm and hijack the bus. Chris speeds up and smashes into Owen's ride. Boom! It's fireworks time. Owen's car goes flying, and explosions light up the scene. Owen's banged up, but still kicking. He hops in his car and bolts, but Lou's on the line, calling Chris back to the truck. Chris is now hanging on for dear life from the truck, and they zoom in like a rocket launcher on wheels, right up to Owen's ride. It's a crazy stunt. They tie a rope to Owen's car, send it tumbling into a ditch, and they're hanging on like daredevils. Owen's all smug, chuckling away, but guess what? The weight's too much for his car, and splash, he ends up in the ditch too, with a one-way ticket to the land of no return. Lou and his daughter, they're all safe and sound. But wait, where's Chris? They think he's gone for good, nowhere to be seen. Lou's daughter spots his diary, and there's a pic of her and her mom inside. Lou opens up, spills his heart out saying, "I loved you both, never wanted to tear you apart." She's touched, gives him a big ol' hug, but hold on, out of nowhere, Chris grabs onto Lou's leg from down below. He's alive and kicking. They pull him up, teamwork for the win. Now they're all like, "Okay, great, we're alive, but how do we get out of here?" Lou's got a light bulb moment. He suggests making some noise to catch someone's attention. So they crank up the volume, hoping for a hero to swoop in. Cut to a little later, and guess what? They've managed to snag that German ship Owen was dealing with. Yep, they've taken over the ship that was hauling the stolen oil. Back in Chris's village, water's flowing, and folks are happier than a kid in a candy store. Chris and Lou, they've pulled off a rescue mission for their village. Talk about teamwork. Lou's team sidles up, wondering about the next adventure. Chris ain't holding back. He's like, "You bet, Count me in for every mission. And that's a wrap, folks. The credits roll on this wild ride of a movie.